Carandiru prison in Brazil for the first time. Sao Paulo greets the viewer with a peaceful view from above. But the lower the camera descends, the clearer the chaos behind the barbed wire becomes. As soon as the doctor crosses the prison threshold, he witnesses a conflict. A young prisoner named Lula intends to deal with a dangerous authority figure nicknamed Knife. The prison warden shows the doctor the prison blocks, demonstrating how life in Carandiru works. The doctor meets his first patient, an old man named Chica. He has 18 children, but only one daughter has decided to visit him after so many years. In the medical ward, the doctor watches as his assistant, an inmate nicknamed Chertus II, takes blood from the prisoners. Each new patient has their own story. One of them, a bearded man, has been awaiting trial for 5 years. He speaks candidly about prison life. Drugs are the norm, and sterile needles are a luxury. The next morning, local Ebony goes for a checkup and casually mentions how he ended up behind bars. He and 2 of his friends robbed a store, but when they were dividing the loot, one of them was shot when Chica mistook his gesture for an attempt to reach for a weapon. The third accomplice, a fat man, later betrayed Ebony to save his own life. Ebony took all the blame, but the man he was protecting was killed anyway. The next patient is Lady D, a flamboyant, confident transvestite with silicone breasts. He and Chertus II develop a mutual attraction and even discuss marriage and unprotected sex. But first they need to get tested so they don't become another link in the chain of infection. Meanwhile, a newcomer arrives at the prison, Deusdedito. He is looking for a place to live, but all the cells are occupied, and only Knife is willing to give up his place for money. Suddenly, Deusdedito's childhood friend Zico appears. He promises to take care of the guy, but living together reveals unpleasant secrets. Zico is addicted to drugs. While the newcomers are trying to settle in another wing, the drug addict Ezekiel begs Zico to trade him a dose for a surfboard. Unsuccessfully. Meanwhile, a dealer nicknamed Your Majesty packs heroin and sends it down the sewer, where he is suddenly bitten by a rat. In the medical ward, he tells the doctor the story of his life, how he married a stunning blonde who stole him away from another man, and then had a parallel affair with a mulatto woman. His double life seemed like the height of masculinity, until his mistress started servicing his friends for money, and the situation got out of control. Later, his wife caught him in bed with his rival. In a fit of rage, she tried to set his mistress on fire right in bed. The firefighters who arrived found traces of arson, which led to his arrest. Meanwhile, the doctor continues his rounds and stumbles upon a disfigured prisoner in the infirmary. The prisoner is hiding on the yellow floor, a place where rapists are hidden so that their cellmates don't tear them to pieces. At that moment, Chica, who dreamed of seeing his daughter, realizes that she has not come. Hurt and crushed, he provokes a fight and ends up spending a month in solitary confinement. On the stairs, the doctor runs into Deusdedito and Zico. The older brother tells him how they ended up behind bars. Zico once lost his family, and Deusdedito's parents took him in.
They grew up side by side until life sent each of them on their own path. Zico ended up in prison for drug dealing, and Deusdedito for bloody revenge. 2 gangsters attacked his sister, and the boy reported it to the police. They decided to punish the snitch. Frightened, Deusdedito took Zico's gun, and finding himself in a dead end in an alley, fired. The first fell immediately. The second ran away, but Deusdedito caught up with him and finished him off, emptying the entire magazine. For this, he was sentenced to more than 20 years. Later, Zico approaches the boss and tells him about Ezekiel's debt and asks what to do. The boss tells him to wait. He will talk to the drug addict himself, so that his relatives pay up. If they don't pay, then he is free to kill him.
The doctor continues to get to know the prisoners. Claudio is lying on the couch, being cared for by his friend Carlos. When they were free, they made a living by robbing armored cars. But their friendship was destroyed by jealousy. Carlos saw Claudio's wife in the company of a policeman and decided that she was cheating on him. The woman denied everything, claiming that Carlos himself wanted to take her away from her husband. The conflict divided the friends. The wife begged Claudio to give up his criminal life for the sake of their son. He agreed. But when he and Carlos arrived at the bank to collect their loot, the police showed up. Instead of arresting them, the police simply stole the money. One of the officers began to mock Claudio, saying that the tough robber had become a doormat for his wife. This insult was the last straw. Claudio took out a hidden gun and shot both of them. Then he killed his wife. Now, lying in the infirmary with a high fever, he keeps asking the doctor, "My son, will he remember this?" Only when he hears that the child was too young does the man calm down for a moment. Visiting day arrives. Deusdata's mother, sister, and her friend come to visit. Zico sneaks up to say hello. His Majesty, out of old habit, meets his wife right in the hallway. The children are playing ball in the next room. When he is told that his mistress has arrived, he literally rushes to her. The meeting of the two wives ends in a scandal, but the mischievous man manages to calm everyone down. Lady D brings Chertus too to meet her parents, but her strict father is not ready to accept his son's choice. While everyone is talking with their loved ones, Knife secretly sneaks up on the rapist who is hiding on the yellow floor. The next morning, he is found hanged. No one saw anything, or pretends not to have seen anything. Chica is released from solitary confinement. His relatives visit him separately. His sentence is almost over. Lady D and Chertus too receive their test results. Both are clean. Chertus will soon be released, and they decide to have their wedding right in prison. Meanwhile, the situation with Ezekiel reaches an impasse. His family has not given him any money, but Zico refuses to kill him. He will soon be released, and another corpse will aggravate his sentence. Ebony strips him of his privileged status, and Zico completely breaks down. He gets high, loses touch with reality, and runs down the hallway with a sharp object. Deusdata takes his weapon and drugs away, trying to prevent a catastrophe. But in his delirium, Zico pours boiling water on him at night, killing his brother. The warden passes sentence for this act. Zico is ambushed in the corridor and stabbed to death. The knife is supposed to deliver the final blow, but for the first time he sees fear in the eyes of his victim and cannot do it. After the execution, His Majesty hands the weapon to Ezekiel. Now he can confess to the murder, receiving guarantees from influential cellmates and an endless supply of drugs in return. The doctor examines the body, and Ezekiel brings the knife. The knife wakes up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat. His nightmares are getting worse. He has been killing without emotion his whole life, but for the first time, he begins to feel guilt. The doctor tells him straight, only his conscience can relieve him of this. In the rain, Knife wanders around the yard until he stumbles upon an impromptu Christian service. The pastor's words break him. The killer falls to his knees, trying to feel at least a moment of purification. Life goes on. The prisoners play soccer, anthem, hand on heart. During the game, a fight breaks out in the far block. A couple of punches turn into a domino effect, and now two gangs are destroying everything around them. In a matter of minutes, the riot engulfs the entire prison. People barricade doors, grab homemade machetes, and set rooms on fire. Carandiru is boiling. A riot is beginning. The special forces are called in. Instead of 4,000 people, there are 7,500 in the prison. And they are all on the brink. Perez tries to negotiate. He forces the prisoners to drop their weapons and surrender. The special forces enter with their rifles raised. They break down the doors one by one, forcing the prisoners to move to the upper floors, while the police methodically follow them. When the tension reaches its peak, a shootout begins. Chaos reigns on the landings. The special forces open fire to kill. The first to die are the prisoners who are outside their cells. The targeted volleys leave them no chance. Even those who took cover behind their cell doors did not all survive. Some accidentally found themselves in the line of fire, while others were simply unlucky enough to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Those who survived are driven out into the courtyard completely naked. The film ends with a dry but deafening reference. On October 2nd, 1992, 111 prisoners died at the hands of special forces in Carandiru prison. There were no police casualties. 10 years later, on September 15, 2002, the last prisoners were transferred to other institutions. And on December 9th of the same year, the infamous Carandiru prison was razed to the ground by a series of explosions, as if in the hope of erasing the memory of what had happened within its walls.